Have you heard of the 10,000 hour rule where it takes a person 10,000 hours to be good at a certain skill?
Spend 10,000 hours.
Now, 10,000 hours is a lot of time. So in this video, I'm going to break down how long it truly takes to learn a new skill and hobby and be good at it. Hi, I'm Dee and I'm the CEO of Too Many Hobbies. Now, before we get deeper into how we can learn new hobbies and skills fast, I'm going to go through the history of the 10,000 hour rule. Now, if you know the 10,000 hour rule, you can skip ahead by using the timestamps or the chapters below. So the 10,000 hour rule comes from Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers. Based on studies with world-class athletes, they found out that these athletes took 10,000 hours to master the skill in their respective sport. Roughly 8 years ago, I found out about this 10,000 hour rule through a figure skating coach online. Now, it kind of made sense to me because time with practice, that's how you learn skills. But it didn't quite sink in that this was this guy's full-time job, because if you do the math, to get to 10,000 hours, if you treated your time like it was a full-time job, say 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, so that's 4 weeks in a month times 12 in a year. All told, it's gonna take you roughly about 5 years to complete that magic number, 10,000 hours.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Which brings me to my next point. So since the publishing of Outliers, the 10,000 hour rule has been spreading like wildfire. But through its journey of transference from one person to another, it has been increasingly misunderstood. So what was before 10,000 hours to master a skill became 10,000 hours to be an expert. Then it turned 10,000 hours to be good at something, and eventually 10,000 hours to learn something new. But if there's one thing you and I can agree on is that it doesn't take you 10,000 hours to learn something new, right? Chances are if you're trying to pick up a new hobby or a skill, say cycling, you'd first want to learn how to, 1, ride a bike, maybe number 2, learn how to do bike repairs on the road, and 3, build up the stamina to cycle beyond 15 miles. Now, you're not going to train like you're competing in Tour de France. So how long does it really take for you to learn a new skill and improve faster? So the method that I'm using is the first 20 hours by Josh Kaufman. He also has a book on it. So in his research, he's found out that it takes 20 hours for someone to learn a skill and get pretty good at it. But you just can't carelessly practice. The first 20 hours of practice and learning should be strategic and focused. Now here's how you can do it in 4 steps. Step 1, deconstruct the skill. Find out what your end goals are for the skill and understand the results you want to get out of learning a new skill. You have to break down the skill as far as you can based on your goals. A skill is often a culmination of smaller skills combined. So I would like to start painting soon, and one of my goals is to create realistic portraits. However, I can't start painting realistic portraits until I've learned how to draw. So drawing would be one of the things that I would have to learn before moving into painting. So in this part, it's very important to find out what skills are important even as you progress through advanced learning in the skill that you've chosen. So for deconstructing the skill, break down the skill, find out what's important, and practice them first. Step 2, learn enough to self-correct. As a beginner, you won't know a lot of things. So how on earth would you know if you're making a mistake? Of course, you have several sources of knowledge. You can use books, videos, and communities. The important part to do in this step is not to drown yourself with information or hoard resources that you won't even use. I have a 3-to-1 method that I use whenever I'm doing research online for practically anything, because there's so much information, it's really easy to get overloaded. So 3, I find 3 good videos to watch, then 2 source materials to read, and then 1, I find 1 community to join. Now this 1 community can also be replaced by 1 mentor, which is even better. Step 3, eliminate barriers. So you've got your gear, you've got your time blocked out, and you are ready. So this is the part where you have to eliminate all distractions for you to focus. Ideally, you should create a space for you to have no internet, no pets, no children, partners, or friends to interrupt you while you're practicing. It also helps to prepare everything beforehand to reduce friction when you're practicing your new hobby. A good example of prep work for me is when I'm roller skating the next day. So what I do the night before is that I check my roller skates, I check if the wheels are turning and if the trucks are moving but not too loose. Now, in the morning, I already wear my workout gear so that even if I finish up the work day tired, exhausted, lazy, I practically have no excuse to skip training. Step 4. Practice for at least 20 hours. So this last step is the test of consistency. So having practiced at least 20 hours will take you to that sweet spot where you're no longer a fumbling beginner, but you're not quite the expert yet. Now, the learning progression may be a little bit harder at the beginning for every skill since you've started with zero knowledge, which is, of course, as we know, the learning curve. What's the number one reason why people don't learn fast enough or don't learn at all? So, the biggest barrier to learning isn't what always people say. They say they don't have enough time, they don't have enough resources. The thing is, people don't like to feel dumb. And when you're learning something new, you just have to accept the fact that you're going to suck and you're going to suck for a long while. Personally, I try a lot of things, so I suck a lot. Did that come out right? Now, I really want you to feel less sucky because you're learning something new. So I'm going to start a series called The First 20 Hours, and it will document the first 20 hours of my learning of a new skill or hobby and some of the things I've already learned. I'll give you the lowdown on how to get started, what sucked for me, what are the mini milestones, and of course everything that I'm going through hours 5, 10, 15, and eventually 20. Here's a quick recap of how to learn a new skill in 20 hours. Number 1, deconstruct the skill. Number 2, learn enough to self-correct. Number 3, eliminate barriers. And number 4, practice for 20 hours. I hope this video helped you decide to learn new things very soon. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, suggestions, please leave them in the comment box below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!